Okay, so we got a really interesting piece from a listener called The Climb, A Philosophy of Meaningful Ascent. And, well, we're going to dive deep into it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really unique take on ambition and achievement and how to live a life that, like a life full of progress that actually has, meaning to it.
I think a lot of people can relate to that idea, like wanting to achieve those big goals and really feel like they're making progress in life.
And it's not just about getting to the top, right? It's about that journey.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you're just focused on the end goal, you might miss out on all those important lessons and growth that happen along the way.
Absolutely. And speaking of growth, this philosophy really highlights that there are different kinds of mountains we climb in life. It's not just about external achievements like, getting a promotion or buying a house.
Right, right. There are also those internal challenges like dealing with self-doubt or, overcoming fears or even just like trying to figure out who you are as a person.
Yeah, exactly. Those internal struggles can be just as demanding, if not more so,
Yeah.
than those external goals.
Yeah.
And the philosophy really validates that.
It's like saying, hey, your internal struggles are real. They matter. And the growth you experience from overcoming them is just as important as any external success.
Absolutely. And one of the first things that really stood out to me from the climb is this idea that the satisfaction of reaching a summit is temporary.
Oh, yeah. Like you finally reach that goal you've been working towards. And yeah, there's that initial excitement, but then
It kind of fades, right?
it does. It's like you plant your flag at the top of the mountain, you take a moment to enjoy the view, but then what?
But the growth you experience along the way that stays with you.
Right, right. It becomes a part of who you are. It shapes your character, it gives you new skills and a deeper understanding.
And the text actually quotes a line from track 8, I think it is. It says, "The summit is mine, I am forevermore."
So powerful, right?
It is. But the real point there is who you become on that climb that matters most. The summit is just a moment in time. But the person you've become on that journey, that's lasting.
It's like that saying, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Exactly. And the climb also talks about how to distinguish between real progress and what it calls false peaks and plateaus.
This is interesting. I think we've all experienced this at some point. Like, you think you've reached a certain level of mastery or achievement, only to realize there's so much more to learn.
Right. It's like you've climbed to the top of what you thought was the mountain, but then you see that there's an even higher peak behind it.
And sometimes we can even get stuck in that thinking. Like, we start to believe we're more competent than we actually are.
There's actually a name for that. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah.
The less skilled we are, the more we tend to overestimate our abilities.
Oh, wow. I didn't know there was an actual term for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've definitely experienced that myself.
I think we all have to some extent. But the point is that recognizing these false peaks is about having an accurate understanding of where we truly stand and not settling for those half climbs.
And then there are those plateaus, those times when you feel like you're putting in the effort but not really seeing any results.
Oh yeah, those can be so frustrating.
They can make you question if you're even on the right track.
But the climb offers a really reassuring perspective on this. It says, sometimes the mountain tricks you, but that doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're still climbing.
So it's like even though you might not see immediate progress, you're still moving forward.
Exactly. It could be that you're building a solid foundation for future growth, or maybe you're integrating new knowledge in a way that's not immediately apparent.
It's like you're laying the groundwork for that next big ascent.
Precisely. And speaking of different kinds of ascents, the climb makes this really beautiful point that not all mountains are the same.
I love that. It really opens up our understanding of what a significant challenge or goal can be.
Right? It talks about emotional mountains, creative mountains, cultural, spiritual. It's like saying don't limit yourself to just one type of achievement.
Yeah, it's like don't just focus on your career ambitions, but also explore your creative passions, nurture your emotional well-being, connect with your cultural roots.
Exactly.
Ah.
Engaging with these different types of challenges can make us more well-rounded individuals.
And more resilient too, right? Like the skills you learn from overcoming a personal challenge might actually help you when you're facing a creative block or trying to understand a different cultural perspective.
Absolutely. It's all interconnected.
Whew.
And building on this idea of diverse challenges, the text also talks about the importance of adaptability and cultural context.
Oh yeah, this is so relevant in today's world. Like what works in one situation or one culture might not work in another.
The terrain is constantly changing, so we need to be able to adapt.
And there's this great quote from something called Rivoluzione in Cucina, I think it is. It says, tradition's not enough anymore. Each flavor is a louder roar.
I love that. It speaks to the need to be flexible and to have a diverse set of tools and strategies.
Right. It's like you can't just rely on one recipe for everything. You got to be able to improvise and adjust based on the ingredients you have and the tastes you're trying to create.
Exactly. And within this idea of adaptability, the climb acknowledges that there isn't just one right way to approach these climbs.
This is so true. Some people are more comfortable with a slow and steady approach, while others like to take more risks and move faster.
And both approaches can be valid.
Totally.
Right.
It's about finding what works best for you and your individual style.
Exactly. The key is to put in the effort and to be authentic to yourself in your journey.
And to enjoy the process, right?
Of course. And speaking of the process, the climb also addresses the fact that no significant journey is without its difficulties.
Oh yeah, setbacks are inevitable. You're going to face obstacles, you might lose your footing, you'll definitely experience fatigue at some point.
It's part of the climb.
It is. And the climb emphasizes the importance of recovery, both physical and mental.
Taking breaks is not a sign of weakness. It's essential for long-term success.
I love this line from the text. Sometimes grace is more powerful than grit.
Sometimes we need to be kind to ourselves and allow ourselves to rest and heal.
And sometimes that can be harder than just pushing through, you know?
It can be, especially in a culture that often glorifies relentless perseverance.
But sometimes knowing when to pause and take a step back is the smartest thing you can do.
Absolutely. And speaking of taking a step back, the climb also talks about the wisdom of strategic retreat and redirection.
Oh yeah, this can be a tough one to wrap our heads around because we often associate changing course with failure.
But sometimes the mountain we set out to climb is no longer the right one for us.
Or maybe our values have changed or our priorities have shifted.
Exactly. And in those cases, making the conscious decision to change direction is actually a sign of growth and self-awareness.
It's about being honest with yourself and having the courage to adjust your path, even if it means letting go of something you've already invested in.
And speaking of investing wisely, the climb also talks about the importance of focus and selection.
With all the potential mountains we could climb in life, it's impossible to do everything.
Trying to climb every mountain would probably lead to burnout and a lack of meaningful progress on anything.
Right. It's like spreading yourself too thin.
Exactly. So the philosophy suggests that we need to be intentional about choosing those few significant climbs that truly resonate with us.
It's about prioritizing what matters most and focusing your energy on those pursuits.
And there's this great line in the text, focus is freedom.
At first, that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but when you think about it, it makes sense. By narrowing our focus, we free ourselves up from distractions, and we can actually achieve more.
It's about creating space for the things that truly matter. And of course, no one achieves great things entirely on their own. The climb emphasizes the importance of support systems.
Oh yeah, we need our navigators, Sherpas, and guides.
The mentors who offer wisdom, the teammates who collaborate with us, the friends who encourage us, and even those who have come before us and paved the way.
Seeking help and support is not a sign of weakness.
Not at all. It's often a key to success.
And it's also important to remember that we can be a source of support for others too.
Absolutely. Helping others climb their mountains is just as important as climbing our own.
It's about creating a community of support and encouragement. And speaking of community, the climb also touches on the experience of lone success.
This is an interesting concept. There can be a certain sense of accomplishment in achieving something really difficult or rare, something that not many others have done.
Like you're the only one who's reached that particular summit.
Right. But the text also points out that the top can be cold when you're there alone.
Meaning that even if you achieve great things, if you don't have anyone to share it with, it can feel kind of empty.
And there's this powerful question in the text. It asks, what's a victory if not shared within?
It's a good question. It makes you think about the importance of connection and shared experience.
Absolutely. Now, while we've been talking a lot about external achievements, the climb also delves into the profound nature of internal climbs.
Oh yes, those internal battles we face within ourselves.
The struggles with self-doubt, the fears we have to overcome the journey of discovering and accepting who we truly are.
Those internal climbs can be just as challenging, if not more so, than any external goal.
They often require immense courage, resilience, and self-compassion.
And the text uses a really powerful metaphor to describe these internal climbs. It talks about coming out.
Coming out as your true self, revealing your authentic identity to the world, even when it feels scary and vulnerable.
It's a perfect metaphor because those internal climbs often don't have a clear roadmap or a visible summit.
But the journey itself is transformative.
It shapes who we are at our core, and ultimately the climb suggests that true progress isn't just about individual achievement.
It's also about the power of climbing together.
It's about supporting each other, helping each other rise, and creating a stronger, more supportive community.
There's this great line in the text from track 10. It says, "Together we'll find what's tried and true."
I love that. It speaks to the idea that we can achieve more when we work together and support each other.
And finally, the climb considers the idea of legacy.
Leaving something behind that will inspire and guide others.
It's about sharing our lessons learned, our experiences, both good and bad, so that others can benefit from them.
Like our struggles can become someone else's safety line.
Exactly. The text says, your footsteps can be someone else's first map.
So powerful. It's a reminder that our individual journeys can have a ripple effect on the world.
That our climbs can make a difference in the lives of others.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the climb, it's clear that this philosophy offers a really compelling framework for living a life of meaning and purpose.
It's about embracing growth, resilience, and authenticity.
It's about choosing our mountains wisely and approaching them with intention and purpose.
And it's about remembering that the journey is just as important as the destination.
So what about you? What are some of the mountains you're currently climbing in your own life?
And what valuable lessons are you learning along the way?